Hey, have you seen this Pepsi commercial? If you haven't, you need to. Watch this.
We follow pizza drivers, make sure the customers get a Pepsi.
Is that legal?
That's a gray area.
Pizza guy! Pepsi guy!
Can you back off?
Yeah.
To enhance your pizza's flavor. You want to give it?
They're following pizza drivers and delivering a Pepsi. Pepsi here is using one of the most important and least used parts of understanding your ideal customer. And that is a principle that I call listen to outsiders. Listen, somebody has already figured out how to communicate to your ideal customer. Somebody's even figured out how to communicate the type of message you want to communicate to your ideal customer. And you're racking your brains trying to figure out how to get your message to them. And instead, what you should be considering is who else has already done this? Who else, in truth, has already paid a lot of money and done a lot of research to figure this out? Now, here's what I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about competition analysis, and because that's what most of us think when we hear listen to outsiders. We think, oh, how's our competitor doing this? No. Pizza does not compete with Pepsi. They're complements to each other. Complements to each other. And so Pepsi figured out, hey, pizza delivery commercials work. People watch them. People buy pizzas. Our product goes well with pizza. People like to eat out to drink our product while they're eating pizza. So let's copy their formula. Let's do a pizza delivery commercial, but instead it's going to be a Pepsi delivery commercial with pizza. They were listening to outsiders. This is a crucial thing because for most of us, we don't have the time, we don't have the budgets to go out and do the extensive research that so many bigger companies have done. We don't. We don't. But we can still leverage their research by looking at how they're communicating with our ideal customer. And there's the key. You're not just going out and saying how someone's saying something. They've got to be communicating to your ideal customer. Okay, so if you're selling a high-end luxury product to men, then maybe going and looking at some of the BMW or some of the Mercedes-Benz or other high-end products that speak to your type of men is where you should be looking. See how they communicate. And then you have to consider why is it effective? And then you don't just copy what they did. Instead, you ask yourself this question. What is the principle that they're using here that's being effective? And how do I take that principle and apply it to what I do? How do I take that principle and apply it to what I do? Okay? Now, very simple examples of this. We'll stick with the men example and for just a moment. Let's say you're speaking to very wealthy men, and that's your market. Fine, no issue there. And you know that they buy BMWs, right? Then when you're doing your campaigns, you may learn a lot from BMW, but if you're going to put a car in a social post, if you're going to put a car in a video that you create, you're not going to put a Ford, are you? No, you put a BMW. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Karen, just recently, actually, a few days ago, about this because she's looking at, she does, most of her clients are men, and they're men in a service industry, and they're men in a service industry, and it was funny. I said, how many of your guys drive Silverados versus F-150s? And like, oh, they're all Silverado drivers. Right. So you wouldn't use an F-150. You wouldn't even go to the Ford F-150's marketing to look at how they're communicating with their customer. No, you look at how Chevy is communicating the Silverado to their customer. You want to find brands that are communicating with your ideal customer and study how they're communicating. Okay? How they're communicating. To go a little bit further there, if I can speak properly, to go a little bit further there, consider not only are they, I really can't speak today. Consider, are they not just only speaking to my ideal customer, but are they also helping my ideal customer take the type of action that I'm looking for them to take? So, for example, if you want your ideal customer to stop doing something, then look at brands who are communicating and trying to get your ideal customer to stop doing a different action. And consider, why is that working? What are the principles they're using here? And then how can I crosswalk that? Okay? If you're trying to get your ideal customer to consider a new idea or a new way of thinking, then look for brands that are speaking to your ideal customer and introducing them to something new and how they do that. That's the principle of listen to outsiders. Listen to outsiders. Key and crucial, and it's one of the things that if you can master, it will make your communication and your marketing so much more effective than your competition. So try it out. Want to hear how this works? Want to hear what questions you have, because I know for a lot of you this may be a new concept. And if you've got questions on how to actually think through this, hit reply. Let me know. I want to hear from you. Thanks.